What's up, Drop Pod listeners? You can check out new episodes of the Drop Podcast every Tuesday and Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find all of our content on YouTube at the Drop Golf Podcast and on our socials. That's Instagram and Twitter at the Drop_pod. No matter how you consume us, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Follow and listen along.
This episode is brought to you by George Wall Ford. George Wall Ford in Red Bank, New Jersey is family owned and operated, proudly serving New Jersey residents with superior customer service since 1960. Rye, share your story about your experience there.
Mike, I went on a tangent in one of our episodes previously about it, but I can't say enough good things about George Wall Ford. I needed a new car. I had an old. I loved the brand that I had. I loved, it was an SUV, but had 165,000 miles on it. It was just time, So I hopped on over to George Wall Ford. I saw our guy Jerry, and Jerry and his team were awesome. I mean, from stem to stern, they're there, they're helping, they're knowledgeable. They have so many cars on the lot that you can go in and say, hey, I want a sunroof, a navigation. I want this kind of rims on it. I want this kind of this, that, and the other thing. There's a great chance that they have that car with all your specs, the color, all that thing. Me, I didn't particularly care. I was like, hey, I want to be high up in the car, right? I need an SUV. I'm a big guy. I got a dog. I got golf clubs. I got beach chairs in the summer. I need something that's a little more rugged, a little more. Again, I like to be higher in my car. And I went and saw Jerry. He pointed me in the right direction. And again, it's awesome to have that kind of help and support from your salesman to the finance guy to even they got somebody who helps you set up your car, right? I got an app on my phone now that's got my auto start on it. I can locate my car if I don't know where it is. I could take a trip to Japan if I wanted to and be like, did I lock my car? And I can go into the app and lock my car. So even people helping you set up that stuff, just the hands-on approach over there is incredible. So if you need a car, head on over to George Wall. And go ask for Jerry. They were awesome there. Again, stem to stern from everybody. I can't say enough good things about it. It was an unbelievable experience.
So to Ryan's point, there isn't a better place to shop for a brand new car. Just call 732-704-1932 and ask for Jeremy Wall. George Wall Ford in Red Bank for all your car buying needs. This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Kulat.
What's up, Drop Pod people? How you doing? Welcome back. Interview Thursday this week. We got a big-time guest, Mike. Chester Patterson, Met Mid-Am champion, NJSGA 4-ball champion, defeated Mike in Austin. He is a... Shots fired so early. It was cool to have Chester on. You and Austin played in the tournament, and you guys didn't win. He did, so he defeated you. He is. It was such a cool interview. We interviewed him in the room that Tiger Woods stayed in. If you watched our episode on Tuesday, we talked about that. It was really cool to have Chester on. What an absolute great guy. With a great story.
Yeah, listen, it's back-to-back weeks with just pure gentlemen. I think you talk about what Reed was like last Thursday. You're talking about what Chester is this week. I don't know if we can find better people in the game of golf than those two. They are just pure individuals, and it was great sitting down with Chester. He opened up every single door for us to go down and to visit, to ask questions. I can't say enough nice things about him. I know you and I said the same thing about Reed, but listen, that's how it is here when you're talking golfing in the Garden State here, folks. We got nothing but the best of the best. It's the cream of the crop. Chester just adds to that.
Absolutely does. An absolute gentleman. That's how I would describe it. He was genuinely happy to have us there. He was very genuine. He said it 100 times. Like, he loves what we're doing. He was very, very genuine and yeah, an absolute gentleman. So without further ado, we're going to send you to that interview in the Tiger Woods room at Hamilton Farms with Met Mid-Am champion Chester Patterson, and his caddy, Eric Stevens, joins us at the end of the interview. Enjoy.
So today's guest, boy, oh boy, we're in for a little bit of a treat here. We're with the 2024 MGA Mid-Am champ, Chester Patterson, at his home club here at Hamilton Farm Golf Club. Chester, thank you so much for hosting us today.
My pleasure. I appreciate what you guys do for the game of golf, and happy to have you guys here.
Very excited to be here. As I was saying, this is my first time, and I'm very impressed just walking into this mansion. So I can't wait for the rest of the place. I'm giddy like a schoolgirl. I really am.
Knew, and I said to him before we even got here, I said, if we come up here and we can make this happen, you're gonna fall in love with this place. Just because I just know what you like. I see this whole place. It's right up your alley.
Yeah. So far, check marks.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about the golf yet, but let's get into the victory. I mean, I think when it's there at Manasquan River, Ryan and I know it so very well. The people there are phenomenal. But prior to the event starting, had you seen the place? What did you know of the place? Like, kind of like, where was your game at? What were the expectations?
The game has the game's been good, honestly, for the last couple of years. And I've been fortunate enough. I actually have Chris Dimmick up for our pro member up here at Hamilton Farm, which we've been fortunate enough to win the last couple of years. So Chris and I have gotten close, and been fortunate enough to play some golf down in Manasquan with the Wall brothers and Chris and Andrew Kelly and a few other guys down there. So I've gotten to know the golf course a little bit, and I personally love the golf course, and I think it tests all facets of your game. I think a little bit of target golf on the front, and you really got to strike your ball well and putt well on the back there. So,
yeah, I mean, and I think going into the event, did you think you had a chance? Did you, and I know like a lot of us as competitors are like, I'm only going there because I know I can win, and I know everybody's mindset is different. Where sometimes it's like, hey, listen. Let's just see what happens. Let's focus on the process. Some of us are results driven. Like, what was your thoughts before you teed that first ball up?
Honestly, my perspective on golf has changed quite a bit because I got sober about 8 years ago, and thank you. And it changed my perspective on what was important to me. And since I've become sober and all of that, there's other things in my life. Family and friends and doing the right thing that have become more important to me than being a good golfer. And I think with that mentality, I think the internal pressure is kind of taken off a little bit, which is nice. You kind of just go out and play golf and have fun. If you don't play well, the sun's going to rise tomorrow, and there's more important things in life. So to that point, I think it definitely helped me throughout the tournament. I think Eric helped me a tremendous amount. A good caddy can really, really help you out there. But again, I think I had a 2-shot lead in 2019 at the MGA Mid-Am at Weeburn and made triple to lose by 2 or lose by 1. And it was always kind of in the back of my mind, but you don't know if you're going to get another shot. And I hadn't really played any competitive golf since COVID. And Eric kind of dragged me out for the 4-ball. And then I got into this event, loved Manasquan. I was like, heck, I'm going to play it. And kind of just happened to be a good week. Yeah. So it was nice.
I think when you like look back at your season and come like this winter, it's like, you've kind of reestablished yourself as like, I'm a fixture out here. I'm a fixture.
I think in not so many words, I guess. And I honestly, that wasn't my goal at all. Like I was saying, it's not really that important to me anymore. There's other things in my life. It's just kind of a nice thing that's happening, I guess I should say. And I don't know how long it'll happen, how long it'll continue, but and a lot of it is from my family and friends who supported me through that sobriety. But the membership up here at Hamilton is second to none. They're like family. The amount of texts and phone calls that I got, it was overwhelming. I play Eric and I play golf with a group of guys that are like 60 to 80 years old. And I can't.
Eric's like 23.
Eric's 23. I'm 4. And honestly, it is the funniest group of guys because we play the farm tees. It's like 6,200 yards. It's mulligan choice off the first tee. And all they do is make fun of each other for 4 hours. And it is beautiful. And they welcomed Eric and I in there. And it was, we probably we probably laugh harder than they do. And as much as they think, we're doing a favor by playing with them, it's the total opposite. Like, we get such appreciation out of them and the busting of chops that they do, and how much they appreciate us, and it really is a special place.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I think as we got to the tournament, that we had Chris on, we looked at the weather. The weather was going to be phenomenal, like sunny. Chris had said the greens were in great shape. The whole course was looking green and lush. But I think that first day when I was watching, Ryan was on ground, and I think he got there and he's like, dude, I don't know if I've ever seen a golf course windier like that. And some of the people that got in early were able to put up a decent number. Brad Tilley got in there, Richie Fitzsimmons got in there. They had put up some numbers. And then that afternoon wave that you were a part of, I mean, let's talk about that first round, because that round that you played and the score that you shot has to go down as a top 3 all-time round in your career.
It's probably the best round of golf I've ever played, tee to green, considering the conditions and the tournament when you wanted to win.
Mm-hmm.
I thought when I teed off at noon, I think the wind kind of kicked up around 11:15, 11:30, somewhere in that ballpark.
And they said that it turned on, it went from like
calm.
a slight breeze, like more calm than anything, to just gusting at 40 at whatever time it was, in that 11 o'clock hour.
It was nuts. And I thought somewhere around second green, third tee, I was like, they might actually kind of call it. I was like, the ball was starting to oscillate a little bit.
Wow.
So the third hole there is playing 145, I think, on Monday. And I hit a chip 6-iron there. I usually hit my 6-iron about 190 yards carry. And I hit it, and I hit a great shot, and it ended up 6 feet. Eric and I do the putter exchange, I look back, and the ball's blown off the front of the green.
Wow.
So it was that hard. And if you didn't, and a lot of golf is talked about the actual golf, like making the golf shots. It's the mentality of having to focus on every single shot is the hard part. That's the grind, because you can't not focus. And especially in conditions like that, you can make one bad swing and it can turn into a double or triple real quickly.
Yeah.
I was blown away when I saw the afternoon scores, and for you to put up 72 in that was, I texted Mike. I said, that's the most impressive thing that I've seen, because I
appreciate that.
It was there. I think I was on the 12th green, and I was watching guys putt, and I nearly blew over. Now, I'm rather a big guy. For me to get blown over takes a lot. So it was really, so like, I can't imagine what the golf ball's doing to try to like, and I didn't get to see you out there. I was trying to find you, but I couldn't get to you. But I don't know if you were like keeping it low and trying to penetrate it, or just able to calculate the wind or whatever. But man, you a 72 in that is really impressive.
It was, I think part of it, I had a pretty flat ball, and I don't tend to spin it too much. So I think that did kind of help quite a bit. But I think you gotta be confident in yourself, and you got to be able to trust the shot that you take. And I always, when I'm talking to people about playing golf and playing tournament golf, and everybody gets a little nervous when you play tournament golf, because you got to put a number up. You want to win. You want to play
ball in a hole.
Right, ball in a hole. You don't want to embarrass yourself. But at the end of the day, it's another round of golf. You're going to play a game that we all love to play, but now you get to go kind of show off a little bit, right? So if you can get into that mentality as opposed to being, you don't want to embarrass yourself mentality, I think that's a huge step you need to take in terms of wanting to be a good competitive golfer.
I give you a lot of credit after that round, because when I think about the mental fortitude and the toughness and the grind that day must have been like, because you get to see these other guys go out and for example, Richie Fitzsimmons, a member of the club, plays there all the time, know Richie well, like is able to go out there, shoot a good score, better conditions in a sense, easier conditions. And then Brad gets in there. So you got another big name in our area, like posting up a solid number. I feel like your 72 opening round was legitimately like 3 or 4 shots better than their score, even though on paper it really, really wasn't. I mean, describe the mental toughness that like constantly in your mind of like, I got to focus here. I can't, concede to the wind.
Yeah, honestly, like I kind of felt after the round that 72 was about as good as I could have shot, or it was, in theory, it was probably closer to 69, 70 in terms of some of the things. But again, going back to Eric and having a good caddy, being able to, because I do kind of tend to zone out, and it's harder. Eric brings me right back in. It's just one of those things, and he and I play Hoffman Cup matches together, and it's hilarious because he's a college kid. So when I first met him, he was 18 years old. We'd be playing in these Hoffman Cup matches, and he'd be still kind of half asleep for the first 3 or 4 holes. So, we do that, and then I would take I'd take a snooze, because I'm older, and then he would take, so it was a good, it's good ham and egg, and you know what, he and I play a lot of golf together, so he knows my game just as well as I do. So when I'm talking about hitting certain shots, he knows what shots I'm talking about. So he'll tell me good shot, bad shot, good thought, bad thought, whatever it is, and he steadied the ship. There's certain times throughout the round, like 2 on the second day. Not to get sidetracked here, but I was talking about hitting a shot, and he immediately was like, hit it over there. And I was like, okay.
That's what a good caddy's supposed
exactly,
to do. And
exactly.
No doubt.
And who's better than the guy that you've chosen to be your 4-ball partner and trust? Right? Like you guys very clearly, I don't know. I remember going back to the first time we interviewed both of you for the 4-ball when you defeated Mike and Austin. And
there's got to be an aspect of that. We didn't even get into this.
And how you guys clearly know each other. There's like I don't know what it is to describe it, but there's like kindred spirits, I guess is the best way. Like you guys, again, the young and old thing, the power versus the
it's kind of like a
grace,
big brother,
big brother, like whatever it is. But like there's very clearly a great defining chemistry there that makes each other better, and then both of you know each other and know how to talk to each other. So having Eric on the bag must have been just the best possible decision you could have made, because he's going to be able to be that steadying force.
It was an absolute pleasure having him out there, and he is mature beyond his years. I have not met a person like that in a long time that kind of carries themselves and thinks the way they do about the bigger picture. For a kid his age than Eric Stevens, I mean, he's going to win. He's going to win the Mid-Am at some point, if not a couple of them. He's a phenomenal. Yeah. He's the best putter I know, and he's made me a better putter for sure, because I was not a die putter by any stretch of the imagination, and he's like, hole's bigger when you die it, and I'm watching him make putt after putt after putt in the Hoffman Cup, and I'm like, I got to do something about my putting, because it's unbelievable. He just rolled the bean.
And then go on.
I was just gonna say it's you listen to like pros talk about their caddy relationship, and to me that's the most interesting part. Like when they have like the mics on them and you could hear them talk it out. That's the most interesting part, and I don't think that gets enough credit. The caddy player relationship, and like again, you saying I'm going to take this line, and him saying no, go over there, and you just that trust of him is.
It's huge. It's huge. You really can't replicate it, because I remember the first competitive round of golf that we played together at the Hoffman Cup match, which is, competitive to a point. It's match play. We're on the first tee, and he's like, I think I'm gonna do this. You okay with that? I was like, play your game. I was like, we're going out here to play golf. There's nothing different.
Yeah. Because
we're teeing up some sort of match play. I was like, I want you to go play the game of golf the way you play the game of golf.
Yeah.
I was like, if there are times that we need to discuss about certain shots, have at it, but just go tee it up.
Go do what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking for the perfect place to host the wedding of your dreams? Or maybe your company is looking to host an unforgettable holiday party with the beautiful backdrop of a golf course? Or just looking for a great spot for casual comfort food? Then you need to visit Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, New Jersey. Conveniently located in Union County, right off exit 138 on the Garden State Parkway, Galloping Hill encompasses over more than 270 beautiful acres. Book your special day in their recently updated banquet space and enjoy the wonderful scenery on the golf course during your on-site ceremony. You could also host your holiday party in the formal ballroom or in the casual setting of the Hill Tavern Bar and Grill, the gastro pub with seasonal food and beer options updated regularly. Their catering teams consistently win awards each year from the Knot and Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. Don't forget, golf never stops at Galloping Hill either. Open all year round. Go enjoy the course on those nice days in the winter and hang out in the tavern after your round. The fun never stops at Galloping Hill Golf Course. So, I mean, you shoot even par 72 after the first day. You know, you're one back going into the next round. And you know, I don't know what your thought process was like. Like, would you have rather been in the final group? Would you like where you were? But going into the final round, you had to think, like, listen, this thing's up for grabs. It truly is. I mean, the wind was still blowing when I got over there the next day. It was freezing cold out for someone like me. What was the thought process when you teed it up on Tuesday?
It was freezing cold, and
Big time. I was out there in shorts, and I didn't know what the hell.
I actually got there, and I like to get there a little early, so I was probably there. I think I had a 9:30 something tee time, so I was probably there about 8:15. So I like to stretch because I'm old now, and kind of unwind. And I got a cup of coffee, and I walked outside. I was like, "This ain't happening." and I went back inside and sat in the men's grill section there at Manasquan and looked at the range. I probably sat there for 20 minutes. I was like, not happening right now. And meanwhile, my girlfriend's dealing with pneumonia. So I got that on the back end. And I'm like, she's feeling awful. And I know she's feeling terrible. And I'm down here playing this golf tournament. So my mind wasn't totally focused kind of on the golf round as much as it probably should have. But thank God, and I was talking to Charles, who's one of the MGA guys down there. He's like, it's going to get warmer. And he's just totally kind of saying whatever. Yeah. But, 20 minutes before it teed off, it must have gotten 10 to 15 degrees warmer. The sun came out, the wind kind of laid down for a little bit, and it was pleasant. I tell you, when we teed off at 9:30, whatever it was nice outside. Yeah. And for me to say that it's got to be nice.
And then when you get into the round,
two little fellas get cold easily.
Easily.
And then throughout the round, it's legitimately going back and forth. I'm refreshing it. I'm seeing it out there. You guys making birdie, then they fire back with a double bogey. Like, how often through the first 9 are you checking your phone, or if Eric's checking the phone to give you kind of like a, hey, listen, you're only one back, or hey, listen, you're right there, you're one up. Is that going on at all throughout the front 9?
I didn't look at my phone once the entire 2 days. I started out, I birdied 1, made a really unbelievable par on 2, good par on 3, birdied 4, birdied 7, and birdied 8, and then kind of had a stupid 3-putt from like 15 feet on 9, and kind of a sloppy bogey from the middle of the fairway on 10. I think it was 11 tee box when I asked Eric, I was like, should we look at the leaderboard? And he was like, nah, you're good. Keep playing the way you're playing. Probably should have birdied 11, ended up making a good birdie on 12, and then birdied 15, and I'd kind of felt calm the whole time and relaxed. And there's people kind of showing up, and you're in the mix, no doubt. Right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to not see that, and especially Dimmick. I think you guys had Dimmick on after round 1, and he basically called the members out and was like, show up, and they God bless them, they showed up, and so they're marching down the fairway following Richie, and it was kind of nice. And I think, going back to the 2019 Weeburn, where I didn't have a caddy, I was carrying my own bag, and, golf's a learning experience, right? You got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to, figure out how to score when you don't have your best stuff. It's a different thing. And I think with the help of, friends and family, I got a caddy that I trust. I got, a better attitude going into it. I trusted in myself more. And the most calm I think I ever felt was over that last putt on 18. Like, at no point in my mind did I think like I was going to miss. And I didn't think about that until 24 hours later. Yeah. I was like, I was oddly calm for that putt. Yeah. And I had it hanging on the right edge. It was downhill. And, but playing those last, 4 holes, I think I was either even or 1 over for the tournament for those 4, I think, was probably what separated me from the rest of the group.
And did you know where you were on 18 then?
Did you know? Kind of.
Did you had looked by then?
I had not looked, but I knew Eric was looking, and I knew Eric was going to tell me if something. So we got up to 18, and he goes 2 putts, and I'm like, okay. And I'm a kind of a goal oriented, like, you give me a goal, I'm gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal. So I was like, all right, 2 putts makes sense to me. Let's knock it up there. And somehow he and I look at it and we're like, I think the putt's straight because it's got to push this way and it should push back. And it somehow went like right up the hill. And we both looked at each other and were like, I don't know how that went right, but it was fine. And because the weight was good on the first putt. But no, honestly, I didn't look at the scoreboard the entire 2 days.
I give you guys credit because I'm a scoreboard hawk.
I'd be willing to bet.
I need to know. Like, I think I would rather have the pressure on me to know I got to hit this shot or make this putt to then rather at the end be like, dude, I didn't know that and I needed to press a little bit more. Like, I think the more pressure is something that I relish. Whereas, like, when it's not there, it's kind of like, I don't know how you play the guessing game.
Here's the deal. Eric and I have played enough golf together where situationally, without speaking to each other, I kind of knew where I was. And I know him that if he's like, you need to make this, like, he's going to tell me. So it was a kind of an unspoken thing. And it goes back to that 11 tee. Should we check the leaderboard? He goes, no, just keep doing what you're doing. So I knew he was looking at the leaderboard. I knew he knew where we were. But at the same time, I didn't need to ask that question.
Right.
And I told Eric this afterwards. He's got a very calming presence about him that makes you, I don't know if it takes away from you realizing the moment you're in, or just makes you realize it. Again, it is just another round of golf.
Yeah, I don't have that calming.
No, Mike doesn't have that calming.
You guys need an Eric.
I'm not a calming guy. I am like, let's ride the highs and we're deep in the lows at times.
I think I'd be curious, and again, never going to be in that spot, but I think I'd be curious as to where I am. But having someone like Eric to say, like, get this up and down, like, okay, I know that he's got he's looking at something, so like I could be goal orientated without knowing. Now, again, I can't get it up and down, so it doesn't really matter. But like, I wouldn't like the pressure, like you said. That would be, I'm trying to play the best I can anyway, right? The goal is to get birdies and pars, and you know, if you're gonna shoot the best anyway, right?
No,
So why add that extra pressure of like,
also, mentally, I got a lot of issues. We've talked about it many times on the show.
We also Eric and I also discussed kind of proving like par was going to be a good score in any hole. Yeah. So if you make 18 pars, you're going to be right in the mix.
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, you know.
And I think when you think about talking pars, like what you did on 17 and 18, I two putting the way you did and making those putts under pressure, I think was like kind of like the icing on the cake in terms of like what the week was for you, how it ended, and just finishing on that kind of a note.
It was. It really was. It's probably the best I've putted over 36 holes for a tournament in my life. I have an uncanny ability to miss a putt under a foot in every golf tournament I play in, and I did that on the first round on the third hole. But for the most part, I putted phenomenally, and you know, Eric and I saw a lot of the same lines, which helps. If you go out there and you're thinking, all right, it's a right edge putt or a left edge putt, whatever it is, and then you get somebody you know is a really, really good putter, if not the best you know, confirming that gives you the confidence that you need to be able to just kind of roll it in there.
Yeah,
that's good.
I see the same thing. Let me just go execute.
And it's the same thought process. Like if you're not always going to make the right decision out there, right? No. But pick a club that you know you can make an aggressive swing at, and if it's the wrong shot, it's the wrong shot, right? But you're probably going to hit a better golf shot if you pick something that you're, gung ho about versus something that you're kind of wishy washy about.
Sure.
And then, like on a personal level, like winning that event, I think and maybe for a lot, it opens up a lot of doors in terms of what else is there. But I think for someone like you to kind of like rebound off 2019, Tilly was the one who won it that year, and for you to be able to come back 5 years later and be like, you know what, I still have what it takes to beat all these top guys in the area. And a guy like Brad, who's always around the leaderboard, like that had to be, and internally, like when you're going to bed that night, like, I still got it. I still feel good about my game.
No, absolutely. If you don't if you're not excited after winning something like that, then probably shouldn't be teeing it up. But I have to give Brad credit. He was the first one came up to me afterwards and said, "Well played, and you deserve it." So kudos to him. He's a phenomenal player, and I know he's won it once, and I think he's finished second probably 3 times, 4 times. He's going to win a handful of those. But yeah, for sure, the confidence grows, and that's a big part of golf. If you're confident in your game and confident in your abilities out there, you're definitely going to play better golf.
Yeah. There's something to that because you're 100% right. Anytime that I might pick the wrong club, or I might be like, okay, the wind's into us, let me club up, right? And I put a good swing on it, and it goes long, right? Or even if it goes short, it's like I put a good swing on it, I made good contact. Just something like I can't be mad at those factors, right? I made a bad decision before, but everything else was the right thing. So that confidence then doesn't need to waver. Like I did the right thing, right? The wind, died down for a half a second. Like I can't control that. So there's those kind of things that build that confidence that clearly on that kind of day can knock you down, but they didn't knock you down.
No, it's another good. Jason Gore, who's he's a member here, and Eric and I play a lot of golf with him and Jeff Fortunato together, which is quite a pair. But Jason tells us that, listen, once you hit the golf ball, it's out of your hands, right? If you put the work in prior to that, you go make that golf swing. There's nothing else you can do, right? So that it makes a lot of sense. As simple as it is, there's nothing you can do once you hit the golf ball.
And same with the scoreboard watching. There's nothing you can do about what Tilly's throwing up there, right? If you're playing great and you're making birdies and pars, and he's making more birdies, and there's really nothing you can do about that, right? So watching the leaderboard, Mike, doesn't really help you.
Yeah, listen, I give you guys credit. That's why something's wrong with me internally.
Mike's getting crushed in this.
Yeah, this has been a tough. I feel like I'm on a hot seat right now. But I do have one final question to ask, because I think Chris Dimmick would be mad if I didn't ask this. But when we went through the preview, him and I went, and Ryan, we went through hole by hole, and then we all kind of gave our predictions about who we thought would win, what we thought the score was, and he goes out and says Chester Patterson is going to win the thing, and we're like, former guest of the show, so on and so forth.
Right.
And
I think I responded with, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah. Yeah. And then after day one, you interview Chris right there on the first hole, and Chris said, "Don't forget about my boy right there."
Yeah.
And then you go and win the thing. I'm not going to say you had any clue, but did Chris ever say to you, "Hey, listen, you're my pick. You got to go get it done"? Or did you ever come across that?
In not so many words, he told me to listen to the podcast. and Dimmick, he's so unique in a way that Manasquan River is so lucky to have him. He was there at 5 a.m. on Monday. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right. Making sure the MGA and everybody had what they needed. And, as I said, Chris and I have gotten close in the last couple of years with Eric as well. And he is just a genuine, down to earth, lovable guy. Mm-hmm. And he'd give you the shirt off his back. And, I would like to say shout out to Kevin, Chris's longtime caddy down there. I know.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's doing better. I know the reports are good.
Yeah.
So hope Kevin continues to get better. But Chris is just he's just the best.
Yeah.
He's the best. And it gives you a little bit of confidence thinking, and Chris has seen me play some good golf, and Chris has seen me play some not good golf. Like when he had Eric and I down there, like middle of July or August, I think it was, when we played with Andrew Kelly. I played horribly bad. But he, it's your friends and your family, and they give you that confidence, those subtle words that make you believe, and it's nice to get it done.
Yeah. To your point, Chris is one of the most amazing people I've ever met. From before we had this podcast, I met him maybe 10 years ago now, and just like the one introduction that I had to him, we talked for maybe 5 minutes, and I was like, that guy made me feel like I knew him for years and years and years. And I said that to him when we had him on, like, this is now our 3rd time meeting, and there's just something about you that makes me feel like that we're longtime friends. And he's really that kind of person.
He's genuine. Nothing about it's
very
fake.
genuine.
And in the smallest of worlds, Chris Dimmick worked with Drew Jordan and Evan Jones, are two of our professionals here.
Okay. So there's a big connection.
Down at Ocean Reef. So I don't know how that place is still standing at this point.
Better play it beforehand. But listen, I had to ask that question because I know I would have got grilled by Dimmick if I didn't ask that question in the text message afterwards. But listen,
Mike, before we end, we have Eric here. Do you want to have him jump on real quick?
Hop in here. Let's
Hop
go.
on. Let's get you in here.
Listen.
What's
up, buddy? How are you, dude? Nice to meet you.
What's up, bud?
What's happening?
Nothing.
How are you?
Good.
He's the one that makes all the magic happen.
Yeah. I mean, listen, being the Stevie Williams on the bag.
Oh no, far from that.
Come on. I mean, what was that like caddying for your boy throughout 36 holes in an event like that? You know, he's had a lot of kind words. I didn't know how much money you might have tossed him beforehand. I mean, he's ranting and raving about you.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to cover everything he said, but I mean, we play so much golf together that it's just kind of like secondhand nature. I mean, I know when to tell him something, when to just kind of lay off and let him do his thing. He's way more experienced than I am. He's played in so many more tournaments. So a lot of times I just try to stay out of the way, talk about something other than golf, not related to golf or the tournament, keep his mind off things. You know, we have a lot of laughs out there. It's kind of similar to the 4-ball. That's how I took it, at least. I mean,
just you're not hitting shots.
Exactly. I'm not hitting shots, but like there's there's something way more important than a golf tournament. And like, obviously we're there to compete and he's there to compete and I'm there to help him compete, but it's golf. It's a golf tournament. You know, we're there to have fun. It's Manasquan River. I mean, it was a little chilly, but it was a beautiful day for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, just try to keep him laid back and simple, and that's really it. Let him do his thing.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I think for competitors when you're out there playing is not always to be so fixated on golf. Being able to have someone out there that's able to just BS with you about what's going on in the world or the sporting event that took place last night or the Yankees getting walled, whatever it ends up being like. I think having somebody like that you're able to talk to, I think definitely, to your point earlier, carries a lot of weight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that we did talk about, Eric, and that's something that you guys clearly, from our interview last time, from you guys at the 4-ball, that very clearly, you guys don't need to be playing golf in order to have nonstop laughs and be able to not talk. So there's that. I used the word kindred spirits before. You guys are very much in sync there, and it's very clear from anyone that's watching.
Absolutely, yeah. It's nice watching him hit shots too. It's way less stressful than having to do it yourself.
I did go back before. I think Eric's got a wildly this presence about him that makes you calm.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. It's hard to put into words, but you're out there and you're not really thinking about golf in the tournament you're playing in. You're more or less you're out there with your buddy, hanging out, having a good time, hoping to make a couple putts.
Yeah, makes things easy. It really does.
Yeah, but listen, congrats again. It's nice getting a Jersey guy winning a Met event, and looking forward to a great day today. So congrats again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congrats. Thanks for having us. We're looking forward to this.
Likewise. Thanks for coming up here.
All right.
Let's go have some fun.